You can get some good gambling trend information, good game note information to help you cash your tickets. Also, hit the link in our bio, takes you right to our website, buttfumblesports.com. Join our free bracket challenge. We're doing it through ESPN. Our newsletter will go out tomorrow morning. Make sure you're signing up for that free newsletter because it contains all the information you need to be a part of that bracket challenge, the password, everything you need. So sign up for that free newsletter. The link is in our bio. Take us on. Show us that you know what you're talking about when it comes to college basketball. Okay, the final region of the bracket that we're going to break down for the round of 64 before we move on to the round of 32 is the East region. We start really quickly with Purdue. Not going to take a lot of time on this one. I love Purdue in this first game. No matter who they face, it's a play-in game opponent, but I like Purdue advancing to the round of 32. However, waiting for them in the round of 32 is a tough challenge. Memphis against FAU. Memphis, the number 8 seed. FAU, the number 9 seed. Memphis got that win against Houston in their conference tournament that allowed everyone to kind of jump on that bandwagon. I guess everyone but me. I'm really big on FAU. I'll explain why in a moment. But I like Memphis. Memphis is a 1.5 point favorite right now. The total set at 153.5 points. I like FAU for this reason. FAU averages 78.8 points per game. Good for 28th in the country. They also are one of the better defenses in the country, allowing just 65 points per game, 41st in the country. With that said, there are a few teams that are in the top 20 in both offensive and defensive rating. FAU checks both of those boxes. I think FAU is actually better than the seeding that they got. I think they're a really dangerous 9 seed. For that reason, I like FAU to advance. I have FAU on the money line right now. I'm not even taking the plus 1.5. I'm going FAU straight on the money line, and I like FAU to advance to play Purdue in the round of 32. One of the most popular bets right now is number 5 Duke, and they're advancing through the tournament. Duke plays number 12 Oral Roberts in their first round matchup. Not an easy one for Duke for a number of reasons. Oral Roberts has a history of upsets, so Duke needs to be mindful. Duke is a 6.5 point favorite in this game. The total set at 145.5 points. Duke finished 3rd in the ACC regular season. Obviously, they won the ACC tournament. Jon Scheyer proving in his first year that he could lead his Duke Blue Devils to an ACC tournament title. But is Duke as good as a lot of people believe? We will find out quick. Oral Roberts went 18-0 in their conference. In the Summit Conference, they were first. Really good team. Oral Roberts averages 84 points per game. That's the 3rd most in the country. So it's offensive strength in Oral Roberts against defensive strength in Duke. I think Duke is gonna win the game. I like Duke advancing on the money line, but I'm curious to know where the spread goes over the next day or two because I could easily take Oral Roberts to cover. I think this game is going to be much closer than people think. I have my eye on Oral Roberts on a cover play. So right now I'm not making that bet because I want to see where the spread goes. But if I could right now, I would buy the 1.5. I would get Oral Roberts. I would get Oral Roberts at plus 8 points. I would also take the under. Just given how Duke's defense plays, I do think the under is a good play. Right now, the total set at 145.5 points. I think the under is the good play, but once again, I do have Duke winning and advancing past Oral Roberts. It's actually one of only 2 number 5 seeds that I have advancing to the round of 32. Kid Racer, I agree with you. I don't have Duke going to the Final Four, but you're going to have to keep watching to see how far I have them going. Ashton, we went through that part of the bracket a little bit earlier. I will let you know that I like Arkansas on the money line. I like Arkansas to advance in that game. If you want to catch all of our picks, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, Butt Fumble Sports. You can check out this broadcast and look through all of our picks. Getting back to the East region, Duke will be waiting for the winner of Tennessee against Louisiana. When the bracket first came out, a lot of people were picking Louisiana as an upset play. Tennessee right now is a 10.5 point favorite, so it tells you a lot that Vegas is opening up such a big spread when a lot of people were saying Louisiana might be a good underdog play. With that said, Tennessee is a great defensive team, second in the country in defensive rating. They only allow 58 points per game, third fewest in all of college basketball. I expect this to be a low-scoring game. I like Tennessee on the money line. I know some people are doubting them, but I don't think they're going to lose in the first round. I do think they're very vulnerable in the tournament, but I like Tennessee on the money line. I do like Louisiana to cover. Getting Tennessee at plus 10.5, I feel like is a very good play. I like Tennessee on the money line, Louisiana to cover plus 10.5, and I do like the under as well. But when it comes to our bracket, I have Tennessee advancing, moving on to play number 5 Duke in the round of 32. If you want to check out my bracket live right now, go to YouTube right now. For those that are interested on our broadcast right now, you can see our live bracket that we're building right there up on the screen. So in case you missed any of our picks from earlier, you can check it out if you go to our YouTube channel, Fumble Sports, and watch the same live broadcast. But make sure you follow us on TikTok. Hit that follow button. That way you know every time we drop content on TikTok. We're going to shift now to the bottom part of the East region bracket. A lot of good teams in this part of the bracket. I actually think that of any section of any part of the bracket, I think these bottom 4 games are the best of all of them. It starts with number 6 Kentucky against number 11 Providence. Kentucky didn't go as far in the SEC tournament as I expected them to. They have a really talented player in Oscar Tshiebwe. He's averaging 16.5 points per game, 13.1 rebounds per game. He is a stud, definitely NBA bound. Antonio Reeves is another player to have your eye on if you're a Kentucky fan. I think he could fill up the basketball or fill up the basket quite frequently. He's a good shooter from 3. But I think this is going to be a really competitive game. Providence was a good team in the Big East. They finished 4th in a very competitive Big East conference, 13-7 conference record. Providence actually is the better offense. Providence averages 78 points per game, while Kentucky averages 75. Where Kentucky is superior is on the glass. They're going to win the rebounding, so Providence has to shoot a high shooting percentage if they're going to be able to beat Kentucky. But for me, I like Kentucky to win. I like Kentucky on the money line and Kentucky advancing to the round of 32. I think they're being overlooked slightly, and I think that's a benefit when Calipari has teams that are hyped. I feel like they underperform, but when they're under the radar, I think they play a little bit better. I like Kentucky on the money line. I'll also take the over in this game. 2 offenses that can score. I like the over in this game as well. The winner of Kansas State and Montana State will play Kentucky. I'm going to be very quick on this one. I like Kansas State. They're one of my favorite teams in the country this year. I watch them quite frequently because the Big 12 was so competitive. They're an 8.5-point favorite against Montana State. Kansas State has a couple of stars in Keontae Johnson and Marquez Noel. They're each averaging at least 16 points per game. Kansas State, to a metric I mentioned earlier that I really value, they're 11th in the country in assists. They're really good at distributing the basketball. They value the basketball. I love Kansas State in this game. I like Kansas State on the money line, and I like them to advance. I would also bet the under in that game as well, but I like Kansas State advancing, setting up a great matchup with Kansas State against number 6 Kentucky. Appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. Fumble Sports, all the content you need to fill out the perfect bracket. We're filling out the East region part of the bracket right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see all of my picks right there on the screen. We're shifting now to number 7 Michigan State against number 10 USC. USC might have been on the bubble a little bit, but I think they deserve to get in. Michigan State, not the kind of quality team they've been in the past. This is the first game that actually tips off on Friday. This is the 12:15 p.m. game on Friday that'll be on CBS. Michigan State is a 2.5-point favorite. The total set at 137.5 points. Michigan State was 4th in the Big Ten, USC 2nd in the Pac-12. Both of these teams kind of middle of the pack when it comes to stats. Very similar statistics in a number of ways. But to me, the difference in this game is Tom Izzo knows how to prepare his players for the tournament as well as any coach in the country. For that reason alone, I'm going to lean towards Michigan State here. I feel very confident in the Spartans just to win given their conditioning throughout the college basketball season for this situation. Whether they can go farther than this game, you're going to have to wait to see. But I like Michigan State to beat USC and to preserve their 7-10 favorability. Again, Michigan State is the favorite in this one, a 2.5-point favorite. I probably would take it on the spread. I'm not putting money down on it just yet, but I do like Michigan State on the money line. I would also lean towards the over. These are two teams that can score the basketball. I like the over just slightly. The final game of the East region that we're going to break down for the round of 64 is Marquette versus Vermont. Shaka Smart's Marquette Golden Eagles, they really impressed towards the end of the year, ultimately winning the Big East regular season, 17-3 conference record. Vermont was first in the AEC, went 14-2 in their conference. Marquette averages just shy of 80 points per game, 19th in the country in scoring. Vermont, I guess you would say defense is their strength, but to me it's kind of a no-brainer here. I like Marquette on the money line. I like the under in this game just slightly. I think the total is set a little too high at 143.5, but an easy pick for me as we fill out the bracket. I have Marquette winning and advancing to the round of 32. That concludes our picks for the round of 64. Make sure you continue watching as we fill out now the round of 32. The round of 32 to see which teams go to the Sweet 16. Before we do that, make sure you hit the link in our bio. Takes you right to our website, buttfumblesports.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. It will go out tonight and be in your inbox tomorrow morning. It will have a link and password in it that allows you to join our bracket challenge. That way you can take us on, fill in a bracket, see if you're right or wrong, better at than our picks. Make sure you join that bracket challenge. Hit that link in our bio and sign up for that free newsletter. It drops tonight and should be in your inbox tomorrow.